Is one of you Howard the Duck? Which one of you is Howard the Duck? Can you sign my comics? I'm looking for Howard.
West Coast Avengers! Quack, quack, quack! Sign my book!
Welcome back to the West Coast Avengers! I got a special episode for you right now. So I am on the evening of a big Whatnot sale, and I already shot a video today, but sometimes you just gotta do a special edition video. So we're calling this Golden Age Avengers. Why?
Because I'm old. I'm so old.
I just got back from meeting up with somebody who had gotten in contact with me about selling a collection of Golden Age stuff. It was his father's. We played email tag not emo tag, but we played email tag for the last couple of weeks, but I finally got in touch with him. He lives real close to me, so I went over to look at these comics. He had sent me pictures. Admittedly, I don't know a lot about Golden Age, but I'm trying to expand my knowledge on all the ages of comics. Golden Age is the 40s, the 50s, the 30s, basically anything before the 60s. So I figured, why not? Let me go look at it. Let's see what he's got. Maybe I'll recognize some stuff, and maybe I'll buy it all. So I didn't buy it all, but I did come home with this nice stack. I bought blind. I bought based on cover or possibly things that rang a bell from watching cartoonist kayfabe and hearing some names. So I'm just going to go through it. I don't really know what is what, but I'm going to ask that you let me know if I got a good score in the comments below, right? Can't hurt. And let me know if there's anything special about these. First off, we've got something I am very familiar with, baseball. Baseball Thrills. This is number 2. So late summer, 1951. Right on the cover, you've got Bob Feller. Bob Feller was a Cincinnati Red, I believe, or a Cleveland Indian. I'm not 100% sure. The thing that really drew me to this is not just Bob Feller's name on here, but the true story of Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra, one of the classiest, most famous Yankees of all time. I'm not a Yankee fan, but I grew up in New York and I worked in the sports industry, so that was very cool. And then I bought a lot based on cover. We've got Boy Illustories number 81, and all these are going to be from the 50s because that's where most of the stuff starts. This one I really thought was cool. Another sports comic. Comic stories, photos, and features. I don't know Landa Carson, but obviously Joe DiMaggio, another great Yankee, and I'm assuming that's Rocky Marciano, Rocky's Road to Fame. Rocky's Road. This I just grabbed because it was a DC. Here's Howie with the DC logo on top. So this is before Detective Comics, really, because it says Superman DC National Comics in the corner. This one also Howie. Could be about my old boss, Howie Schwartz. How we doing? What are you doing? All right, this I am only familiar of the name of the book, and I don't know anything about it. So you got Joe Palooka number 66 and Joe Palooka number 58. Some great covers. Ham Fisher, it says, by Ham Fisher. I'm not sure if that's the writer or the artist or both. Joe Palooka from 1952. So you got 58 and 66. Fun books. And please, if these are worth something, I mean, I'm going to bag and board them, and, I'll do some research. But as of right now, coming home with this stuff, I know nothing about the value of these. And I know you just take a shot. I didn't pay too much for this stuff. This I bought totally based on this great cover. Tell It to the Marines, number 2 from 1952. The caption says, "Bring a friend," she says. "How'd I know your date was going to turn out to be a cobra?" Wild. Love this stuff. And the thing about Golden Age books, in the Golden Age in general, for better or for worse, you just don't see any type of art like this anymore. You don't see content like this anymore. Lots of pro-war, obviously, fighting Marines. But 50s, that was America. Matt Baker, Fighting Marines, number 5. Leatherneck Jack, Canteen Kate, and Tripoli Stories. Bygone era. Some of these artists in here probably turn out to be some Marvel artists. That's what I want to do some research on too. John Severin, Jack Kirby, tons of these guys that I know from early Marvel, early DC, they get their start here. This one was cool. Young Men on the Battlefield. Just a fun cover. Looks like a Russian soldier and an American soldier, but they're not shooting at each other, which is weird. This is in beautiful condition. Oh my God. This is a rare manufacturing defect where a comic is printed with 2 complete covers, which increases the value of it exponentially because they are so rare. Holy shit. Okay, so we're talking about a Golden Age book from Atlas with a double cover. I mean, this is like pulling gold out of your own ass. Anyway, 1952 double cover Young Men on the Battlefield. Oh boy. See, this is the thing. I didn't open this book. I took one look at the cover. I said, oh, this looks cool. It's in good condition. Who knows? Who knows what that's worth? Captain Steve Savage and his secret superjet. So this guy who sold these to me, these were his dad's comics, so he took care of them. I mean, that's the thing. Like, even though most of these aren't in bags and boards, they're in really nice shape, and this one's obviously bagged. Frogman Comics. I mean, another war one. Frogman, I guess, refers to aquatic soldiers. Maybe, preface to the Navy SEALs or something like that. But I just thought that was pretty cool. The name, Frogman. 1953. Part of American history. But it looks like this would be... maybe a Native American and an American soldier or cowboy working together, which is pretty cool. It doesn't seem too off color, too racist. It's part of history. We want to preserve history. We want to make sure we never forget it. So having some of this stuff that obviously 70 years ago was the norm, or at least not considered risque, is different now. But wow, straight arrow. Captain Atom, maybe a precursor to a superhero that we all know. I don't know anything about Captain Atom, but I thought this was fun. A little mini comic, Captain Atom number 2, and all approved adventure stories, all based on scientific facts and theories. Yeah, sure, right. I'm sure it's based on scientific facts and theories by a crazy person. I'm familiar with this title. GI Combat goes all the way through DC, through the 60s, 70s, probably even into the 80s, of Joe Kubert. But I was interested to see if this is early Joe Kubert or if this is pre-Joe Kubert. It's really tough to tell. Like, his signature's not on the cover, and they don't really credit people in these books back in the 50s. So it's something I'll have to do some internet research on. But Joe Kubert, most known for his war stuff. All right, so we get into something called Joe Yank. A wild GI gamble hits the Korean jackpot. Obviously part of the Korean War. 1952, cartoonish war stuff, but probably has some really off-color things in it. I'll let you know. If you're a kid of the 80s and 90s like me, then you remember G.I. Joe as he was in the 80s and 90s, the figures, all that stuff. But if you are older than that, then you remember the G.I. Joe dolls, and those were 12-inch, more like dolls. And I'm assuming that came from this, the G.I. Joe comic, 1952. So this is G.I. Joe Volume 2, number 15. The covers are a lot nicer than they are on the inside. Inside's very cartoonish and comic booky, but there is some kind of like grittier looking stuff. So there's multiple stories in here. So I picked up a couple of those. He had several G.I. Joes, and I just bought them, figuring like, okay, this is a recognizable name. Maybe they're worth money, or maybe they're not, and maybe it's the stuff from this that I sell, and I keep the rest of it. I am a seller. But when it comes to buying things like this, I like to keep some of it as in comics history. I like to keep it to preserve it. So this one definitely rings a bell to me. Fugitives from Justice, true crime stories. So this would be some of the stuff that would spur the Comics Code. The stuff that was mentioned in Seduction of the Innocent, that would lead to the court case, that would lead to slapping the Comics Code Authority stamp on there. This predates that. This is a 10-cent cover. This is 1952. I don't know the artist on this, so that's in beautiful shape. I tend to shy away from getting Archie. Until recently, when I had gotten a very early Archie from 1945, I would just steer clear away. I picked up a couple of different Archies. This one was a little beat up, but this is Ginger, Sweetheart of a Nation from Archie Comics. And I almost would imagine stuff like this won't fly anymore. But this is Volume 1, Number 4, 1952. So most of this comic collection is from 1952. Laugh, an Archie magazine. Laugh, this is number 65. And then some very early Betty and Veronica, number 14, 10-cent cover. Really good condition. This one was clearly taken care of with a board in the middle of it. And I'll open that up a little bit. But the one I was super excited about, and clearly from a standpoint of, Jesus, this wouldn't fly anymore. Archie number 55. So check out that cover. So it's Archie and Veronica on the couch, sharing a little smooch. And it looks like Veronica's dad in the back saying, Veronica, did Archie get there yet? And she's saying, "Not quite, Daddy." Holy shit! That's creepy! That is messed up. I don't need to explain to anybody why that won't fly and why that's weird. But this is in beautiful condition. This is something I intend to keep as just kind of like a, wow, this actually happened. This is from 1952. And then finally, so this is Marvel Family number 40, Fawcett publication. That's Captain Marvel. That's Shazam. That predates DC Comics. I wish that it was the first appearance of Black Adam. A chance to get an early Shazam book, pre-DC. This is the first one in my collection. I just thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so please let me know in the comments below any info you know about these books, whether it's if they're worth money, who the artists are, historical significance. I don't buy a lot of Golden Age. Sometimes I come across it in collections I buy, but I'm totally excited to learn more about it. Silver Age, always something to learn. Bronze Age, always something to learn. The stuff that predates my life, and I was born in 79. But so thank you for indulging me on this one. Check out all the links below. Whatnot sale every week, Instagram sale every week. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Recommend this to a friend. I've been having a lot of fun. I did have a nice break in content, which I needed for my head. Always happy to be in front of y'all. Thanks for joining the West Coast Avengers. The Golden Age guy is
Gold Dust.